Brief history of the USS Constitution. The battle between the USS Constitution and HMS Java on December 29, 1812, was a dramatic and intense naval engagement during the War of 1812. Here's a detailed account. The prelude, setting the scene. The USS Constitution, nicknamed Old Ironsides, was cruising off the coast of Brazil when its lookout spotted two ships on the horizon. One of these ships was the HMS Java, a 38-gun frigate commanded by Captain Henry Lambert. Approach. Commodore William Bainbridge, the captain of the Constitution, ordered his ship to close in on the approaching Java. Both ships cleared their decks for action as they prepared for the impending battle. The battle begins. First shots. As the ships closed in on each other, the Constitution opened fire, but the gun crews struggled to hit their target. Java maneuvered to rake the Constitution, but Bainbridge skillfully avoided the attack. Close quarters combat. The two ships engaged in a fierce battle, exchanging broadsides at close range. Java's shots smashed the Constitution's wheel, wounding or killing the quartermasters manning it. Despite his injury, Bainbridge rallied his crew and ordered them to steer the ship using the tiller directly connected to the rudder. Turning the tide. Constitution's advantage. The heavy American shot, combined with the Constitution's thick hull, began to turn the tide of the battle. Java's foremast was toppled by American fire, and the boarding attempt by Java failed. Captain Lambert's wound. Captain Lambert received a mortal wound in the chest, and the Java's crew suffered heavy casualties. With many of Java's guns inoperable and the ship heavily damaged, the British crew was forced to surrender. The aftermath. Surrender and victory. First Lieutenant Henry Ducey Chads of Java hoisted a white flag, signaling surrender. The Constitution's crew boarded the Java and took the British prisoners. Demolition. Unable to tow Java to an American port, Bainbridge ordered a demolition party to set fires in Java's hold, causing the magazine to explode. Although the Constitution suffered damage to its rigging and hull, it made it back to Boston on February 15, 1813. Legacy. Impact on naval tactics. The victory of the Constitution over Java motivated the British Admiralty to change their tactics, forbidding their frigates from engaging American frigates alone. Celebration. The news of the victory reached Boston before the ship itself, and the city was ready to welcome its heroes with great fanfare. This battle showcased the skill, bravery, and resilience of the Constitution's crew and solidified the ship's legendary status in naval history. The battle between the USS Constitution and HMS Cyane and HMS Levant on February 20, 1815, was a dramatic and decisive naval engagement during the War of 1812. Here's a detailed account. The prelude. Setting the scene. The USS Constitution, under the command of Captain Charles Stewart, was cruising the Atlantic Ocean near the Cape Verde Islands. The ship had recently escaped British blockaders off Boston and was on a mission to capture British vessels. Sighting the enemy. At around 1 p.m., the lookout on the Constitution spotted two ships to the southwest. These were the HMS Cyane, commanded by Captain Gordon Falcon, and the HMS Levant, commanded by Captain George Douglas. The battle begins. Initial engagement. Stewart ordered his crew to set all sail in pursuit of the British ships. The Constitution had the windward advantage, allowing it to maneuver more effectively. The battle commenced with an exchange of broadsides and musket fire. Constitution's advantage. The Constitution's larger guns and heavier construction gave it a significant advantage over the smaller British ships. The American crew fired with precision, causing heavy damage to the Cyane and Levant. Turning the tide, Cyane surrender. After a fierce exchange of fire, the Cyane was severely damaged and its crew overwhelmed. Captain Falcon hoisted a white flag signaling surrender. The Constitution's crew boarded the Cyane and took the British prisoners. Levant's resistance. The Constitution then turned its attention to the Levant, which continued to fight despite its damaged state. Stewart ordered a relentless pursuit, firing broadsides and cutting through the Levant's rigging and masts. The final victory. Levant's surrender. The Levant, unable to escape, eventually surrendered to the Constitution. Captain Douglas and his crew were taken prisoner, and the Constitution secured its second victory of the day. Aftermath. The Constitution, now with 2 captured British ships anchored at Porto Praia in the Cape Verde Islands. The crew celebrated their hard-fought victory, which was a significant morale boost for the American Navy. Legacy, historical impact. The battle showcased the skill and bravery of the Constitution's crew and solidified the ship's legendary status. It was the last time the Constitution engaged in active combat during its long career. Cultural influence. The victory was celebrated in the American press and became a symbol of the nation's naval prowess during the War of 1812. This dramatic battle is a testament to the determination and courage of the Constitution's crew and remains a celebrated moment in naval history. The battle between the USS Constitution and HMS Guerrière on August 19, 1812, was a pivotal and dramatic naval engagement during the War of 1812. Here's a detailed account. The prelude. Setting the scene. The USS Constitution, under the command of Captain Isaac Hull, sailed from Boston on August 2, 1812, to patrol the waters southeast of Halifax, Nova Scotia. The British frigate HMS Guerrière, commanded by Captain James Richard Dacres, was en route to Halifax for repairs. Preparation. Captain Hull and his crew had been conducting daily gun drills in anticipation of combat, ensuring they were ready for the inevitable confrontation. The battle begins. First sighting. On the afternoon of August 19, 1812, the lookout on the Constitution spotted the Guerrière approaching. As the 2 ships closed in on each other, the Guerrière hoisted its colors and opened fire, but the cannonballs fell short. Engagement. Hull ordered his crew to return fire, and the battle commenced. The Constitution's thick hull, made of white oak and live oak, proved resilient to the Guerrière's cannonballs. An American sailor famously exclaimed, "Huzza, her sides are made of iron, see where the shot fell out." Turning the tide, boarding party. As the ships came alongside each other, Lieutenant William Sharp Bush led a boarding party, but he was mortally wounded by a musket ball. First Lieutenant Charles Morris took his place, but was also seriously injured, unable to maneuver effectively. Guerrière's damage. The Guerrière's masts were felled and its rigging was cut, rendering the ship. Captain Dacres was gravely wounded and the British crew was overwhelmed. The final victory. Surrender. With the Guerrière severely damaged and unable to continue the fight, Captain Dacres hoisted a white flag, signaling surrender. The Constitution's crew boarded the Guerrière and took the British sailors as prisoners. Captain Hull made the difficult decision to scuttle the goo. Scuttling. The next morning, Guerrière by igniting its powder magazines, ensuring it could not be salvaged by the British. Aftermath. Return to Boston. The Constitution sailed for Boston, arriving on August 30, 1812. The city greeted Hull and his crew with great fanfare, celebrating their victory, it the nickname Old Ironsides. Legacy. The battle established the Constitution as a formidable warship and earned the victory, provided a much-needed morale boost for the American public and became a symbol of American naval prowess. This dramatic battle showcased the skill, bravery, and resilience of the Constitution's crew and remains a celebrated moment in naval history. From all of us at History Explorer, we thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get notified when we drop new content like this.